Hi, welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt. And this might be the pinnacle of the 6-cylinder. It was a few years ago Mercedes introduced this class of vehicle to their lineup. It rides on the same chassis as the E-Class, and it's actually very similar under the skin to the E53 that we drove earlier this year. However, what the GLE coupes and the X6s have proved is styling is everything. So this car takes raw style and pedigree of the GTC, S, and R Halo cars and brings 4 doors to that. So, did it work? We'll start covering what's going on under the skin. Much like the E53 AMG, we have the 3-liter twin-turbocharged inline-6. It's a twin scroll turbo and it has the 48-volt mild hybrid system. However, unlike the GT53 we also drove earlier this year, this amped-up 53 version gets an electric supercharger added to the mix. The result? 429 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque, and 0 to 60 in just about 4 seconds. So it's quick. If you need more pace, power, and sound, then you have to go up to the big 4-liter twin-turbocharged, hand-built AMG V8, that's that GT53. However, the power that this mill puts out and the rapidness and the quickness that you get into the power is more than adequate. But it's the sharpness that stands out to me the most. As I've mentioned in other AMG vehicles, it's the incredible drama that you get from the AMG 9-speed transmission. You get drama on upshift, you get drama on downshift, and you get drama on liftoff. I love it. There's drama, but also dialed back into a more civilized drive mode, there's excellent smoothness as well. The 48-volt system fills in electric torque to smooth out start-stop and in between gear changes. And then there's the ride. The ride is pretty good. In comfort mode, it doesn't quite settle down and just become a luxury car in the same way that the Audi Sport models do. This is a common thing for AMG and M cars though. Even with the adaptive suspension, air suspension, the M and the AMG cars are generally more stiffer sprung, which gives them a higher performance ceiling. So yes, the Audi will be a little bit more comfortable in town, but it won't sharpen up in the same way that you get here. And that's not to say the ride is bad at all. It's still got a Mercedes level ride. It just won't be an S-Class. But you bought an AMG, so you didn't really expect an S-Class ride, did you? Ultimately, behind the wheel, despite the size and weight penalty that you get from adding 2 doors, this GT53 feels amazingly athletic. It feels like it's constantly kind of nudging you to push it harder and harder. You've got great drama on shifts, the sound is really good, and it composes itself really, really well, depending on whether you just want to relax or if you want to push it a bit. So with that, let's step outside and talk some finer details. Okay, so behind the wheel and dynamically then, it is pretty similar to the E53 AMG we drove earlier in the year. However, the exterior design, the drama, and the uniqueness does play an overall role in your general overarching experience with the car. Of course, it all starts with the unique front face of the GT class. It's much more aggressive than the cousin E-Class with its shark nose. The typical Panamericana grille slats signify AMG. You've got the 2 bulges in your powerdome hood. You have a similar running light design that you would get from the GT Halo cars this car is modeled after. Around the side, you see the length of the hood as it drapes over the awesome 21-inch forged wheels wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, an excellent tire befitting of the performance level. Then, down the profile, the shape is so unique from anything else. You have the recognizable E-Class chassis in the front, and then you have almost a curved RS7-esque liftback design in the rear. The rear hips are wide and flared in a very dramatic fashion. And then again, the taillights resemble the GT Halo cars. You do have a deployable spoiler you can release with a button or over certain speeds. And then you have quad tips, but they are ovals rather than the rhombus that you get from the V8 cars. However, they are finished in black, just like all of the other badging around the car. So yeah, it looks pretty good on the outside, but it looks even better on the inside. So yeah, this does share a chassis with the E-Class. It's not a bad thing, obviously, as we've talked about. And it does share a design element or two on the interior here with the E-Class. However, a lot of the other vehicles in Mercedes lineup are kind of a copy-paste interior design, but this and the Halo GT Roadster class cars, these have a very unique aspect to their interiors, and it is really cool, and it reminds you that you got a lot for your money. You've of course got the big 12.3-inch screens for your cluster and your infotainment system. You've got a nice head-up display with loads of information. You get excellent 360 cameras and parking sensors. You get CarPlay, you get MBUX with more customizability than you'll ever need. But you get all these things in other cars as well. But it's the design of the dash, and more specifically the center console, that set this car apart. The center console is designed to look like a V8 to pay homage to the original Halo GT cars from Mercedes a few years ago. Your cylinder banks have 4 buttons meant to represent cylinder heads with customizable drive modes and other function buttons. And then, of course, we need to talk about the materials. The diversity here makes it feel so expensive. You've got leathers, quilting, aluminum, etc. This is what you get with Mercedes. You get an interior that's visually stunning and reminds you that you bought a premium luxury car. They do the best ambient light in the business, the graphics are exceptional, you get luxuries like heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel, massage seats, pano roof. I mean, it's just nice in here and it'll make your friends say, damn. Then there's the rear seats. This is a 4-door version of their 2-door, 2-seater, so you get performance buckets in the rear. You get one less seat than you maybe would, but when you start ripping around, your passengers will be grateful for a little bolstering. Legroom is fine for 6-footers like myself. Headroom is bordering on a little tight, but that's the price you pay for the gorgeous sloping rear roof design. But ultimately, it's usable for adults. And then the trunk, which is a hatch style and super practical, and depending on the rear seat package you get, you may be even able to fold your rear seats, but even with them up, it's a nice big trunk. So ultimately, the cabin design here on this GT53 is phenomenal. It doesn't have the massive showy hyper screen that you'll get in Mercedes' new electric EQ models, but to be honest, I haven't heard a lot of good reviews on that screen, and I don't miss it. You have all the customizability, the functionality, the design looks exceptional. I love this colored interior with the black toning and the red stitching. It's a great premium interior that reminds you every time you look anywhere that you paid a lot of money and it's gone a long way for you. And that's not something that you can say about everything from Germany. So with that, let's get into the final thoughts. So, the AMG GT53. This class of vehicle reminds me a lot of the 8 Series from BMW, especially in the Grand Coupe. The 5 Series and the E-Class bring more practicality for a bit less money, but they don't give you the style and the prestige that you get here. This GT53 feels more special than your normal car, and that feeling might just be worth it. So thanks to Mercedes-Benz of Milwaukee for letting me have a go, and we'll see you in the next one.